NATO and BRICS represent two of the most powerful military and economic blocs in the world. NATO, led by the United States and its European allies, is the most advanced military alliance in history, while BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, is a rising coalition with growing military capabilities and economic influence. If these two alliances were to face off in a direct military conflict, the outcome would depend on multiple factors, including military size, technological superiority, economic resilience, logistics, and strategic positioning. NATO has a clear advantage in terms of technology, global reach, and air and naval power, but BRICS has superior manpower, regional advantages, and a growing economic foundation. A war between these two power blocs would not be a simple contest of strength. It would be a test of logistics, alliances, and military strategy. A prolonged war would favor different factors than a short, high-intensity conflict. Let's analyze how these two forces compare across key military dimensions and examine where each side has the upper hand. Military size and manpower. NATO's professional forces versus BRICS' massive reserves. NATO has a well-trained professional military force with approximately 3.3 million active duty personnel. BRICS, on the other hand, has over 6.2 million active troops, giving it a significant numerical advantage. China and India alone contribute nearly 5 million active and reserve personnel, meaning that in a prolonged war, BRICS could potentially sustain larger troop losses while continuing to replenish its ranks. However, numbers alone do not determine battlefield effectiveness. NATO forces are highly trained and equipped with advanced weaponry, whereas many BRICS militaries rely on conscription and have lower levels of training and battlefield coordination. NATO troops also benefit from a well-integrated command structure and extensive combat experience, whereas BRICS forces have never operated together in a major war. If the conflict were to drag on, BRICS' ability to call upon vast reserves could become a decisive factor. However, NATO's smaller but better trained force, combined with superior technology, could allow it to inflict disproportionate losses on BRICS troops, offsetting the manpower disadvantage. Land power. Russia and China's tank armies versus NATO's air-land doctrine. BRICS fields a massive number of tanks and artillery, significantly outnumbering NATO's ground forces. Russia and China alone possess over 30,000 tanks, while NATO has approximately 14,000. In a direct land confrontation, BRICS could overwhelm NATO forces with sheer numbers, particularly in Eurasia, where Russia and China could deploy their mechanized divisions rapidly. However, NATO does not rely on a traditional tank-heavy doctrine. Instead, it integrates air power, precision-guided munitions, and networked warfare to counter enemy armor. The M1 Abrams, Leopard 2, and Challenger 2 tanks are more advanced than most BRICS models, featuring better protection, firepower, and targeting systems. While Russia's T-90M and China's Type 99 tanks are capable, many of their older models are outdated and vulnerable to modern anti-tank weapons like the Javelin and NLAW. Russia and China also emphasize heavy artillery use, deploying large numbers of multiple launch rocket systems to saturate enemy positions with indirect fire. This approach has proven effective in Ukraine, where Russian forces have relied on mass artillery barrages to wear down defenders. NATO, however, favors precision artillery such as HIMARS, which offers greater accuracy and efficiency. If NATO can establish air superiority, it could neutralize BRICS' tank advantage through airstrikes and drone warfare. However, if BRICS forces manage to hold airspace and engage NATO in large-scale ground battles, their numerical advantage in tanks and artillery could become a significant factor. Air power. NATO's global dominance versus BRICS' air denial strategy. NATO has the most advanced air force in the world with over 20,000 aircraft, including fighters, bombers, drones, and support planes. The U.S. alone operates over 13,000 military aircraft, more than all BRICS nations combined. This gives NATO a decisive advantage in air combat, long-range strikes, and strategic bombing campaigns. NATO's F-22 Raptor and F-35 Lightning II stealth fighters are superior to anything in the BRICS arsenal. Russia's Su-57 and China's J-20 are their only stealth aircraft, but they are produced in much smaller numbers and lack combat experience. The Eurofighter Typhoon and Rafale further strengthen NATO's air power, providing a diverse and capable fighter fleet. Despite NATO's advantage, BRICS has developed strategies to counter Western air superiority. Russia's S-400 and S-500 air defense systems, along with China's growing missile defense network, could pose a serious threat to NATO aircraft. If NATO fails to neutralize these air defenses early in the conflict, it could face high aircraft losses when operating in contested airspace. NATO's ability to refuel and resupply aircraft mid-air allows it to maintain operations for extended periods, whereas BRICS lacks this capability. Without a strong aerial refueling and AWACS network, BRICS would struggle to project air power over long distances. If NATO destroys key BRICS air bases and radar stations, it would cripple BRICS' ability to contest air superiority. If NATO gains air dominance early, it would control the pace of the war. However, if BRICS can hold its air defenses strong and deny NATO full control of the skies, the battle could become far more difficult for Western forces. Naval power, U.S. carrier groups versus BRICS coastal defenses. NATO's naval strength far surpasses BRICS, particularly in aircraft carrier capability. The U.S. Navy alone operates 11 nuclear-powered aircraft carriers, while the UK and France contribute additional carriers. In contrast, BRICS has only 4 carriers, none of which are nuclear-powered or capable of sustained global operations. NATO also has a significant advantage in destroyers, submarines, and amphibious warfare capabilities. Its naval forces are designed for global power projection, allowing it to control key maritime choke points and supply routes. The U.S. Navy's submarine fleet, particularly its Virginia-class attack submarines, is considered the most advanced in the world, capable of hunting down enemy ships and submarines with near-total stealth. BRICS, however, has developed strategies to counter NATO's naval dominance. Russia and China emphasize anti-ship missile systems, such as the Zircon and DF-21D carrier killer missiles designed to destroy NATO's powerful aircraft carriers. If these weapons are deployed effectively, they could prevent NATO from operating freely in contested waters such as the South China Sea or the Arctic. Final verdict: who would win? If NATO and BRICS were to engage in direct military conflict, the outcome would depend on the type and duration of the war. In a short, high-intensity war, NATO has the clear advantage. Its superior air power, naval dominance, and precision strike capabilities would allow it to cripple BRICS' ability to fight effectively. If NATO can quickly establish air superiority and neutralize BRICS' key military assets, it would dictate the course of the war. In a prolonged war of attrition, BRICS could wear NATO down. BRICS has greater manpower reserves, significant natural resources, and growing economic influence. If NATO becomes bogged down in multiple fronts or struggles to sustain supply lines, BRICS could leverage its resilience and economic power to outlast its adversary. NATO has superior technology, air power, and global reach, while BRICS has manpower, economic leverage, and regional control. The winner would depend on who can impose their strengths first and sustain the war effort longer.